Taoiseach, with respect, there's only one group of people here today and yesterday who are insulting the motivation of young people. And that is the group of people who are saying you need to cut their social protection to get them to work. Because that is the logic that's being used. Minister Howland came in here yesterday and said, I quote, "I am pleased to announce no reduction in the basic social welfare rates of people of working age." He then announced a reduction in the rates of basic social welfare rates for people under 26. Are people under 26 not of working age? I'm confused. And then the Taoiseach on national radio this morning added insult to injury by saying it's not a cut. In doublespeak worthy of George Orwell, he explained it wasn't a cut, the government was simply extending lower rates to these people. Extraordinary stuff.
Answer that. Here's what
Aideen Carberry, the chairperson of Labour Youth, said about it. It's fundamentally unfair. It is our opinion that it will cause people to emigrate. We watched on with a combination of sadness and concern. I don't think the problem with the unemployment crisis in this country is training. The issue is that there are not enough jobs. Labour Youth. Most of our young unemployed are graduates. They are highly educated and taking low-paid work to make ends meet. Taoiseach, this cut not only displays a complete misunderstanding of the unemployment challenge faced by our youth. It's not just bad economics. It's discriminatory. This, to me, and I mean this most sincerely, this is an issue of human rights. You would not, and none of us would, I hope, come in here and saying we are cutting basic social protections to non-whites, to women, to Muslims. But that's exactly what you've done. You've targeted a group of people based on age. So, Taoiseach, my question to you is this. Do you accept that this cut discriminates based on age? Do you accept that that is not how we should do business in this country? Do you accept that these people are equal citizens in our country? And will you ask Minister Burton to remove this from the Social Protection Bill before it comes before this House? Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Donnelly is normally very constructive in his comments here in the House when he has the opportunity to lead for the technical group. You fully understand in the constituency that you represent that young people have a right to have a chance at getting a job and a career and an opportunity. But it seems as if these parties here want to confine them to the dole queues for the rest of their lives. Now, I want to say this to you, Deputy Donnelly. Taoiseach Gilmore and the Labour Party have been very clear about the position of the government in wanting to provide opportunity for people to get into the world of work. And you must provide an incentive for that. Minister Burton pointed out that it is not the way to go that when a young lad or young girl leave secondary school, that they suddenly end up on the rut of unemployment, which ends in a tunnel of despair. You have to be able to reform a system to give them the opportunity. And the government here have ring-fenced money and places on back to education, on training, on mentoring. We've put in for those young graduates that Deputy MacDonald was speaking about and that the chairperson of the Young Labour Movement was talking about, who are graduates and who are entrepreneurs, that they can start their own business under the Young Entrepreneur Scheme, that they can avail of mentoring to start those businesses, that they can get state assistance. And if somebody in their mid-20s has been out of work for 15 months, they can now start their own business and have up to 40,000 income tax free based on the 2 years prior to that for setting up those businesses. So it is a case, Deputy Donnelly, of providing the motivation and the opportunity for people to work. A case came into me this morning. Married man, 3 children, 3-day week. He was on 560, put on a 3-day week. Between his 3-day week, his unemployment assistance, housing rent and all the rest of it, he's now on nearly 900. Where's the incentive to work? Where's the incentive? This country always beat adversity by being practical about working our way out of it. And this budget, Deputy Donnelly, is about exiting the bailout. That these people over here, I recall the press conference with my predecessor, Taoiseach Cowan, and the late lamented Brian Lenihan, when they walked off the stage and they were replaced by the Troika. and our sovereignty and our economic independence was handed away. This government, Fine Gael and Labour, is focused on retrieving that economic sovereignty, and our young people will have the opportunity in a new country to have work and careers and opportunity. And that's what this is about. And that's why we ring-fence money and ring-fence places, so that the young people of Wicklow and Dublin and all around the country will have those opportunities to give their ambition and give their talent and give their creative talent an opportunity to flourish.
Deputy Donnelly, 1 minute.
Thank you for your reply, Taoiseach. Taoiseach, got a young man working for me recently for free, who has a degree and a master's degree, and he's now gone on to full-time paid employment. Before him, I had another young man working for me who had a degree and 2 master's degrees, and he worked for me for free as well to get experience, and he has now moved on. These people do not need an incentive to work. Now, if what you're saying, Taoiseach, if what you're saying is that there are other young people out there who, based on getting the normal social welfare rate, are refusing to either take up jobs or take up important training, then I would refer you to the job activation measures that Minister Burton is bringing in, which say if you don't take a job or you don't take reasonable training — I wouldn't want someone with a degree and 2 master's degrees to be told they had to go and train in landscape gardening because they couldn't find a job. But what she's bringing in, which your government's already bringing in, is a rule that says if you refuse a job, you will get no welfare benefits because you are refusing to work. And I have no problem with that. I have a problem with targeting people under 26 for no other reason than they are under 26. In the same way that I would argue if you would come in and targeted women or people of colour or people of a particular religion. This is an issue of human rights. You're not applying it to 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds.
Question, please.
So, Taoiseach, my question is this. We have time, based on the new budgetary process, to step back and think and meet and discuss. So I would ask you to think about this in terms of human rights. I would ask you to be aware that the job activation measures have already been brought in that say if you're sitting at home and you're living on the dole and you refuse to take a job, you get nothing, and I would support that. So my question to you is, in the time that Dáil Éireann has to tease all of this out in the coming months, will you please take it away and reflect that this is an issue of human rights and it is discriminatory? Thank you.
Thank you. Taoiseach.
I regard the issue of human rights as referred to as a right to work and a right to have an opportunity to work, and that's what good government should be about. Deputy Donnelly, the numbers on the live register were nearly 500,000 just a short time ago. Because of the reforms and the changes that are brought about, and because of the labour activation measures, that has fallen consistently for 15 months. Expected to go below 400,000 before the end of the year. Many of those are young people.
Please.
I regard every person as having the right to work, and I agree with you that for those who decide that they don't want to work, they're in a different situation. But it's true that in the Department of Social Protection for years, different ranges are treated differently, from young people through to the different categories that apply in society, right up to senior citizens. They're all treated in different ways, depending on what category they find themselves in. So I believe that the changes that are made here are really in the interests of young people finding a whole new opportunity, a whole new advantage. And I want to see, Deputy Donnelly, the new intro offices that have been rolled out by Minister Burton, where there are group interviews, where there are mentoring available from small businesses, where there are people who say, look, I've got a talent for you here, I've got an opportunity. If you do this education course, you can be involved in retrofit or refitting, or whether it's construction you were doing, change direction. But this is about giving them the incentive and the opportunity and the motivation to say, I've got a talent, I want to do something different here, and here's the opportunity for me.
Thank you.
Why is it, Deputy Donnelly, that for years there was never an engagement with them? When they signed on, they were left sign on. This is different. These are our people. These are the future of our country, and they've all got a talent and an opportunity, and we want to let that flourish. And that's what this is about. And the day, Deputy Donnelly, that we exit this bailout is a different day for Ireland. Put the shutters up behind us and never let it happen again, like the legacy and the economic mess that fell down on our people by incompetence, greed and everything else that applied in a culture that we never want to go back to.
That completes Leaders' Questions for today.